Can I ask you, or did you have something, Brandon?
I was just going to wrap it up with some fast questions.
Okay, I got actually an interesting topic. Let's see if you agree. So,
do you have to go?
No. From the few, YouTube, this and that, morning chalk up type stuff on Instagram, there's been some stories about the camps and how did they perform, and having done this now for years, I don't know about advice, but what would you have to say to all the other coaches at camps who are getting hit with they didn't perform or you didn't meet expectations? What would you say to them?
To the people or to
the other
camps?
to the coaches.
Yeah.
You have to deal with the
what'd you do wrong? Why didn't they perform?
Yeah.
Well, I sent Jake Marconi coaches Jason Hopper at Hard Work Pays Off, or at least he is his coach, and I sent him a note afterwards saying keep your head up. I'm sure you'll get hate just as a result of being involved in that top level sphere and having the spotlight on you, but that's part of sports, is just having high expectations and sometimes not having them met. And I think that's true. I do think that there's a lot of press on the camps, the big camps, but some of the camps, our training camp, has been around for many, many years. It wasn't 2 years ago we started doing training camp. I used to, in 2015, I think I had 15 regional athletes here doing a preparatory camp for competition.
It's now being talked about, and it's almost being talked about as if we want to be this.
Yeah, but I never really thought
you're making it a story, not us.
Yeah, I never really thought of being a training camp. Then you have training camps like Invictus, who's been a CrossFit affiliate for 15 years and had somebody win the games, but then they're not even in the training camp discussion a lot of times, even though they had a great performance in season. So I think it's a story to make the ex-champions more relevant and make their businesses more relevant in the space. But I don't think it's realistic to think that if you're associated with somebody who is a top-level champion, or you're getting the same training as somebody that a top-level champion is, that you're going to have the bulletproofness of the top-level champion. So I think if you have 100 people that go to Mayhem, a certain percentage of them are going to get exactly what they need and perform really well and learn from Rich and learn from the team, and they're going to crush, and they're going to crush expectations. A portion of them are not going to do well or have a bad weekend or not really vibe
of any of us.
Yeah. Sorry. I said Mayhem. Let's say with TTT. You go with 100 people. Some portion are going to crush it, really like it. Some portion are going to be trained really well, have good expectations, and underperform on game day just because of a bad weekend, bad event, drama leading into training, whatever it is. And then there's going to be kind of that middle group of people that figures out if they take value out of it or how to get better, but they just don't have the talent or any of that stuff. So
let me ask you this. Do you think that the way that people are training dictates how they perform at the games?
A little bit. I think it has.
What's the percentage there?
70.
What was the question again? The way they're training?
So how much does training dictate?
How much does
winning?
training? Yeah.
Exactly. By that, do you mean the programming that
the programming that they, let's call it camps, camps that are programming for these athletes.
But does that include the coaching from the coach?
The coaching and the programming.
Okay.
I would just say holistically,
Yeah. Well, I don't know what any other brand is doing under the hood. So I don't know how much X number of athletes training at a camp. Let's say you got 20 athletes training at a camp. How many of them are getting individual instruction from a main point of contact coach or the subordinate specialty coaches out there? I know Chris Hinshaw is involved with a lot of the camps and has helped Froning and has helped Frazier. Is he going in and looking and writing an actual running training program for all 20 of those different athletes? Or is there just one program that they all follow? That would be very interesting for me to dig into that information so I could speak more confidently about it, but I don't really know. What was the original question?
Just what do you think that the programming dictates who wins or who does well and who does poorly at the game?
Yes. So I don't think the programming would dictate it. I do think that the person's self-confidence, sense of community, sense of belief in what they're doing, I do think that helps.
Now, shitty programming could probably hurt it.
Yes.
But if we're assuming that it's all relatively good.
I think at the top level, I think there may be things I disagree with how the people do it or how much volume they do of a certain thing. But most of the time, all the top level camps are doing something good enough for programming. Yeah. I think coaching separates in how well can you get each individual peaked as well as possible for game day, and how many years can you do it consecutively and consistently.
I think that's probably the hardest part.
I think the thing that...
Why that?
Well, just longevity in this sport is about continued progress in multiple different domains. It's about continued emotional management because it's so chaotic. It's always changing. It's under-resourced. It's hard to have enough finances. You don't know when you're going to compete. So I think the coaching process of helping people evolve their mindset to keep enjoying what they're doing and keep enjoying the suffering and know when to back off and when to go back into hard training. I think that is where longevity and separation in coaching is. I don't think whether you took third or first or eighth or whatever, like, coaching is not that. I know there are coaches out there that are winning and then like they're saying like, oh yeah, coaching, but that's just, I think, just a good sales pitch for a brand. The most important thing I think in dictating a winner is them.
Then that's all
their genetics and their mindset, and they're dealing with adversity and a little bit of luck, right? Like,
for sure,
there might have been people out there that could have won, but they tore a labrum. And it's like, all right, well, now you got to rehab from that and then get that all the way back up.
Just
and that could be
Kenny Rogers. Yeah. What happened to him? And that was the storyline. Like shoulder, or what's the guy's name? The old the HBO singer? Show. No. Sorry, I said Kenny Powers. Kenny Powers. Sorry. Everyone understands.
Yeah, everyone knows Kenny Powers.
I messed up my shoulder back in
Eastbound and Down.
Oh yeah, Eastbound and Down. That was such a good
that show would not fly anymore.
No, yes. No. How did he not get canceled from that?
I don't know. Have y'all watched Superbad in a while?
Yes,
it is good.
Yes, but it's so
also a cancel
fest. It warms my heart.
Yeah,
just because it wouldn't work anymore, but it's just because of that. It's just so good.
Yeah.
So to finish that topic, I agree with you 100%, but I do think that programming probably plays a bigger role than people think at the middle level of the sport. I've seen so many people get burnt out, hurt, tweaked, end up quitting the sport.
As the middle level?
Like, let's just say those that are like in between, like close to quarterfinals to close to semifinal range. Like, I know that's technically top 10-ish percent.
I'm on the bubble of breaking into quarterfinals.
All the way through the bubble.
All the way through the bubble of semifinals.
Yeah, so it's like 90th to 99th percentile.
Right.
Why does it matter more there?
I agree.
Those people usually, it seems that when they come to us, are very overtrained, usually tweaked, have issues like we talked about, shoulders or knees or hips or whatever it may be, and they lose their passion. Like we were talking about passion earlier. Like, people come into this because they love the aspect of being able to compete or just do something that they've never been able to do, but they don't have good instruction on the gymnastics or the lifts, and so then there's so much more risk. Whereas these talented individuals, like Travis, can just go and pick anything up he wants now, and like he's doing bar pullovers for the first time in probably a couple months, or maybe more
years, because he doesn't want to do them. And then they came out at the games, and I was like, now you got to learn.
But this morning he's doing like 20 in a row. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like in one day. But if you took I don't want to say average person, but just someone that's doing a class or someone that's maybe even following a program that hasn't tried that before, it's going to take much longer. So if they don't have good instruction, they'll just run themselves into the ground, or they start to do it and they can get a couple and then all of a sudden they hurt themselves.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. But I thought it was more for at the highest level.
It was. I just was going to the other side of the coin there.
The other reason for that group is, generally speaking, they have a huge hole. So it's like, you want to be a balanced athlete, but relative to your fitness, let's say your engine and your cardio is a 9 and your skills and your gymnastics are a 9, but you only back squat 300 pounds and you only snatch 135 pounds as a guy, you're so unbalanced in your fitness that you need a program design that is unbalanced to balance your fitness.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So it's like, well, if you're on a well-rounded program and you're not a well-rounded athlete, you're getting shitty training because you're not well-rounded. So I think that's why programming really matters for that level, is because you need a comprehensive evaluation of like, well, this is what you need to be able to do. And then once you know what you need to be able to do, you need to hyper-focus until you bring up your skill set.
Right.
Whereas it seems like a lot of the other training programs are just very CrossFit-y. And not that that's bad, but...
Well, if you're good at everything, then it's a good place to be.
Once you're elite, then it's almost like this weird, like, bell curve where in the beginning you kind of got to do everything and you just got to kind of stay well-rounded, and then you start to develop and your natural tendencies take over. So like, strong people keep getting stronger, enduring people keep getting enduring. The 1% of elites, so 0.001%, they just keep getting better at everything all the time without having to change. But at some point, most people are like, wow, I can snatch 300 pounds right now, but I can't row a 2K under 7 minutes. And it's like, okay, well, now you need to do way less strength work, way more endurance work, and you need to build your engine if you want to compete.
And then you got to fight your mentality that's going to want to still do all that other shit.
Yeah, because you're good at it.
Which is harder than getting the 7K.
Yeah,
the 7 minute.
So that's where I think
Totally.
coaching really, really, really matters. And I think
that's the fun coaching though.
Well, I think it's also becoming our niche, right?
Yeah,
like our
that's
intermediate path, our RX path, and we have all these skill programs as we're trying to learn how to help take those people from that 90th percentile and try to give them the competitive edge, to give them a chance. Even if you do everything right, you still might not be good enough talent-wise, but at least you have a chance. If you're doing 30% of your volume in endurance and 30% in strength and 30% in random metcons, but you're already 90th percentile in metcons, it's like, all right, well, this is 30% of your time is wasted. You'd be better off resting and eating until you're snatching enough.
Look, we're just going to get you out of the open so you can get into quarterfinals, and you're going to look good enough in quarterfinals that you can get your social media clip and post it to your Instagram and call it a season.
Yeah.
That's right.
And you do it for the love of the game. That's what it is.
What was your rapid fires?
You have rapid fires?
No. I was going to ask him about the athletes that he thought did really well and the athletes that didn't, but we covered most of that.